Hey guys!
Hey guys!
We're back with another Orphan Black review, this time reviewing Orphan Black Season 4, Episode 5, titled Human Raw Material. If you haven't seen it yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. Okay, one of the things we mentioned last week is that Cosima hasn't really been in this season very much, and she was front and center in this episode, and it was great. We don't get to see Cosima go undercover very often.
No, we
And
don't.
she did in this episode, and she was great.
Yeah, she was really good, and it was like perfect for her to be the one who goes undercover. It's because she's the only one that's sick right now. It's like the others kind of baby her a little bit, and they don't want her to go out and do stuff. And this was right up her alley. She needed to do this. This was her expertise. So I'm glad that we got this.
And the big question we're left with at the end of the episode is, did she give up the original to Susan in order for Susan to work on a clone, or work on a cure for all the clones?
Yeah.
From that conversation with Ira at the very end, it seems like she might have.
Yeah.
Or maybe Cosima was like, I'll think about it, and Susan is just wishful thinking.
Yeah, or maybe it's some sort of tentative agreement where she's not giving all that they might want, but she's giving a little bit. Like maybe she'll provide the sample, but she won't provide the source, you know, something.
I don't think Cosima would actually give up the original. I think she's way too loyal.
Yeah.
I think she would rather die before put anybody else in danger. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if she is actually double-crossing Susan.
Yeah, yeah.
We also got a lot of Crystal in this episode.
Yes.
We met Crystal last season, and she's one of our favorite clones, even though she was only, I think, one episode.
Yeah.
And not very much of it.
But she's like the complete opposite of all of the clones. Yeah. I love her. She's like so serious, but she is completely wrong on like everything.
Like she knows something's going on, but she is so off base about all of it, but she still somehow finds her way to Brightborn.
Yeah, it's like she has the wrong theories, but she keeps ending up at the right places. Yeah. So she's getting there like ass backwards, but she's getting there.
Yeah. So I think eventually they're not going to have a choice. They're going to have to bring Crystal into the fold.
Yeah, and I can't wait for that day because I love her.
I'm really looking forward to it because she's kind of a badass, really.
Yeah.
Like, she's been taking self-defense classes. In fact, she kicks her teacher's ass in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy, and she's throwing him all over the place. I'm really excited to get more Crystal, and I think that's totally what this episode is leading up to.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a reintroduction to Crystal.
Yeah. Those were the two big plot lines from this episode, but there was a lot of little stuff going on as well. And it did a really good job of touching on everything and not feeling like it was overloaded with stuff.
Yeah, it kind of touched on every story, but yeah, like you said, it didn't feel like an overload.
So, Felix and Adele, they actually are siblings, which Sarah found out from her covert DNA sampling.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's not out to get them.
Yeah, there's definitely still, there's something shady about Adele.
Yes, I agree. Like, it's a little too coincidental that she finds him now.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't put it past the whole group to have recruited her knowing she was Felix's sister in hopes of implanting her later.
She has a drug problem. Her life is completely falling apart. She probably needs money. She could totally be like a paid-for plant to gather intel on the Clone Club.
And now she knows the safe house.
Yes, Felix. Oh my gosh. All season we've been going, you know what, Sarah, you're kind of in the wrong here. Yeah, we don't trust Adele either, but you need to cut Felix a little bit of slack. In this episode, Felix was 100% in the wrong, bringing Adele to the safe house. What are you thinking, Felix? Just smack. Come on, man. Also in this episode, we get a really small scene with Art talking to the police union rep, telling Art basically to not mess around with the Hendrix because they're in a lot of trouble. You know, they're being investigated for drug trafficking and a triple homicide and all this stuff. And so Art calls Sarah and he's like, what the hell? But Sarah's like, look, I'll take care of it. So Art is like washing his hands of the Hendrixes entirely. And he's leaving that mess to Sarah to fix. Now, of course, the triple homicide, that was Helena who did that. And
Yeah.
Helena was MIA in this episode.
Yeah, and things could get really, really confusing for the police when they try to figure all this out and realize that there's all these people that look like Beth.
Yeah. And finally, near the end of the episode, I feel like we did get actual confirmation that Kira is at least a little bit empathic when it comes to the other clones.
Yeah, like somehow she's picking up all of their base emotions, the emotions that are forefront in all of them. Like she had mentioned, like Rachel's the angriest, like, so she's
Helena's the loneliest. Yeah.
Helena's lonely and Cosima's sad. Like she's able to pick up on these emotions from them, and I don't know if that's just because of how she grew up. She's more attuned to picking up the emotions, or if they're going into something a little more there.
I think they're going into a little more, just because she said, there's more that I don't know.
Yeah.
Which implies to me that there's a bunch of clones out there that we haven't met yet, but Kira is getting these emotions from them, and they're coming through in her dreams.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things we mentioned, we're like, man, please don't make Kira psychic. It just seems a little too out there, even for this show about clones. But it's kind of grounded in actual science and not pseudosciences like telepathy and telekinesis and that
like
kind of
that
stuff.
she's able to kind of channel their emotions. It's a little bit more plausible than being completely psychic.
At least when you're talking about a show like this.
Yeah, a show about clones. It seems plausible.
It's like empathy is a little more plausible than telepathy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that's it for this review. If you caught something in the episode that we missed, tell us about it down in the comments. We would love to hear it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and we really hope you did, tell us by clicking that like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.